this
Here is like a plastic entrance with the embossed letter sculpture on the surface, and it's like a supermarket, reminiscent of a supermarket with a bit of color, transparency, thick plastic. And we come inside the art space and the warehouse where this collection is warmly housed. This is a nice pile of metal. It's William de Kooning seated bronze, 1969. We love de Kooning. We love de Kooning's shapes. I don't know about de Kooning as a sculptor so much as a painter. I'm not. I like the metal of it. I like the physicality of it. I like that it's like clay, suspended and eternal. And I see the seated woman shape imply very gestural and physically interesting pile of material. And then we walk in deeper, and we start to see some other interesting things. People looking at photographs, and here we have this piece of metal. I think this we're going to see a lot of medical. Anthony Caro, Rwanda steel, made in 1974. I believe that in Rwanda at that time there was a political uprising, and the piece is beautiful in its uniform colors and shapes. I like not uniform, in the uniform color of the slightly rusted patina, slightly rusted color, and these cutout shapes. We have some rivets nicely placed, and we have these thinner pieces, and we have a space, and it reminds me of a piano top, like something musical about this sculpture to me. And it looks nice in the space. And then my husband is now standing in front of what I'm gonna guess is like a Morris, Tony Smith, who I like very much. Is painted welded steel. It's called Throwback, and I like very much the piece by Tony Smith that is at LACMA. It's called Smoke, and this is in that language but different. It reminds me of Morris, and it's very much minimalist sculpture, focused on these wonderful shapes, and material is paramount, and it invites a kind of walking around, but it's a much slower walking around than one experiences in other smaller sculptural pieces that are not quite so horizontal and sprawling, which is a hallmark of minimalist sculpture, which is interested in the horizontal plane and creating a space for a absurd and impossible geometric shape that cannot really exist nor sustain itself outside of the art context. I like the matte surface, which is hallmark to Tony Smith, as we know, like that wonderful piece that's at LACMA and Foyer, which is called Smoke. And again, this piece is Throwback, and it's very much in the language of Tony Smith. We're very comfortable with it. Now let's walk over here and let's see what else. Hikari, that's my friend Fege Broshi, who's here covering Latin American interest in the fair. And I believe this to be a Chamberlain, and that is a Rosenquist. So let's look at the details. This I believe it to be a Chamberlain. Let's check the facts. Okay, I'm wrong, because the piece on the wall is a Frank Stella, and it's 1984 to 1985. I like it. That was a time that I'm not a huge Stella fan for, but I do like this piece. It's a fun, whimsical, and just a little bit extravagant. The juxtaposition of the painterly gesture and color and cutout with steel and printing technology, the very sharp lines of print, and this kind of theatrical swirl. And then the heaters, obviously, is in the language of Chamberlain, but it's an artist named Nancy Rubens, and the piece was made in 1992. It's 20 water heaters with pipe fittings and electrical wiring, paper and lead. The paper we see at the top, and the paper is covered in chalk, in lead. I mean, and the heaters are stacked together, tied together in a wire, and they have a slight color. We have a mostly sort of tarnished white crumpled surface, metallic, gigantic throwaway surface where we have this nucleus. It's like a giant's garbage plaything, and the surface is scratched, and then the drawings on top of it all, where the drawings become inaccessible black on black fields, and the cracks in the paper reflect and echo the dings and dents in the water heaters, and just this slight color of modern industrial home design color, that soft color. Like I like it very much, the yellow, slight yellow field of color, just like a tube. And then this shape here, like look at that shape. Look at how it protrudes from among the stack of water heaters. It's an impossible situation. You look at this wire holds it all together, and it's just such an odd, impossible feat, and makes no sense in a very good way. And I like that it makes no sense in a very positive thing sometimes, not to make sense in this crazy world, don't you think? And then we have mirrors, and like I said, I mean, mirrors are ubiquitous in contemporary art. And this is a very interesting piece of cosmetic mirrors, mass-produced cosmetic mirrors. They have pink and blue colorful borders, and so they are reflecting the beauty culture, the culture of beauty back at us, and how cheap it all is. It's just the idea of, do I look good? Is my makeup okay? Is a cheap idea, the cheap concept, and it's a mass-produced beauty, and the idea of beauty is this a vulgar, readily available, ready-made face, you know? And then the work is situated so that we can indeed see our faces, we can see our torsos. It is reflecting our middle part of our bodies, and some of the mirrors are shaped in hearts, most of them are rectangles, sometimes they're triptychs and diptychs, some are just squares, most have colorful borders. We like looking at ourselves, and that Arthur Danto made this visionary, all-encompassing statement about the surface, the reflective surface, and the desire of collectors to see their face reflected back at them. And, you know, in traditional painting, when painting was at the service of portraiture and creating a mimetic representation that was accurate, that is no longer necessary. So instead, in our period, we have this surface that reflects anything if there's light, and it'll reflect anyone, and it will reflect with a broken degree of accuracy depending on the quality of the mirror. And I mean, these are cheap mirrors, so in this broken, unpredictable juxtaposition of shape and color, we see our face or our selves fractured.